Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Acharya Vishvendra, and today I'm here to discuss a video on the optimal study plans. As you may be knowing that in JEE and NEET there are about 6,000 A4 size pages, but exam comes from only 25 to 30 pages. That means the ratio is 1:200. That is out of 200 pages that you have prepared, and assuming that you are able to grasp each line, each word of that page. Only one page is important out of 200. So that explains the probability is very less, 1 by 200, which you calculate is 0.005, so which is very less probability. That explains the complex things involved in cracking any competitive exam. So because of this, there is extreme pressure and extreme accuracy is needed. So we need to develop plans for that how will we be able to get that much accuracy. So let's study with the plans. The plans comprise of annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily and hourly basis. So let's start with the hourly plan. Suppose you study for 1 hour. Break it into two things, 50 minutes and 10 minutes. In 50 minutes, you focus on information absorption, that what you are studying, the concepts, the terms, the vocabularies, the questions, the answers, the tricks. You just work for 50 minutes on that. But during the 10 minutes, you just quickly revise what you studied today. Suppose you studied today about friction. So just study for, take 1 hour, devote 50 minutes to study friction, static friction, limiting friction, kinetic friction, their expression, the graphs, the conditions when friction will be static or kinetic or limiting, various questions based on that. But before you stop studying, use 10 minutes to quickly revise what you studied to the point. And you must be able to retain at least the basic question like what is friction, which type force it is, what is static friction, conditions for which friction is static, what is kinetic friction, conditions for which friction is kinetic, and the basic questions like if you apply a certain force on a block, what will be the type of friction? Will it be static? Will it be kinetic? Will it be limiting? Will the body move? If the body move, what will be the acceleration of the body? What will be the friction acting on it? So this completes the entire pattern involved with a particular topic. So that is how you should prepare, how should you plan your studies, so that you always have a basic idea in your mind that you are studying just to solve questions related to this particular topic in your exam. So that should be the basic central idea while studying. Next is study in the form of integrated patterns. So you integrate all the patterns and study like that. Now let's come to the process of problem solving skills. Every student has got a brain and the mind. Mind has got three levels: the conscious, subconscious and unconscious, and there is interaction of information between the brain and the mind. When you study something, there are neural patterns formation. The neural pattern gets transferred to the conscious mind, then from the conscious to the subconscious mind, and from the subconscious to the unconscious mind. And when you revise that or when you retain that, there is a reverse process involved. That is, you transfer information from unconscious to subconscious mind, from subconscious to conscious mind, and from conscious to the brain. And this reverse process is a bit hectic. It gives you some pain, anxiety is involved. Study once out are that you will feel emotional distractions in the reverse process. And that's why the first of all, study is not enjoyable at all. It's a painful process, and in that painful process the retention is very painful. You must have felt that it's very easy to ask a question but very difficult to answer, because asking question is you are just speaking anything which comes to your mind, so you don't need to organize things. But when you answer, then you have to focus on certain information, a particular part of information out of infinite amount of information available. Anybody can ask you anything. So that's why answering a question is very difficult, and it's very easy to ask question. There are a lot of philosophers who try being intelligent by asking questions. But the thing is that answering a question is a big thing. Asking a question is a simple thing. You just speak out of your comfort zone. Answering a question requires you to come out of a comfort zone and search for information which may not be present in the mind-brain system. So that simply explains the complexities in the process. So as I explained, revision is the main thing over here, and it is the key factor behind optimal performance. Actually, thing is that when a student appear for competitive exam, there is a syllabus involvement of 6,000 A4 size pages, and when he appear for the exam, he has to retain information out of those 6,000 pages which he learned during the 2 years. So retention or the revision process is a crucial factor over here. Those students who are successful because they have trained themselves on the revision process. They have learned, they have mastered the art of transferring information from brain to the mind and from mind to the brain. And they have practiced a lot, that now they are become adaptive to that, and they don't feel negative vibrations, or they don't feel any sort of effective emotional distraction. Emotional distraction is very common when you solve a question. When there are problems, then it's very natural to have a bit of emotional problem. But if you have worked on the problems, then after a certain number of times you become habitual to bear the pressure. That is where you say that you have become adapted to that. And as per the Mendel's theory of dominance, that person or that species will be able to survive which has got adaptive mechanisms. So you just need to adapt to the high frequency brain waves. You need to adapt to the emotional conflicts, especially during the revision. Only then you can think of making a career in problem solving skills or cracking any competitive exams. So, concluding in a nutshell, the mind brain algorithm is the main factor behind all the optimal performance. They can be categorized as weak and simple, and strong and complex. So, if you want to be a good performer, then use OST, which I explained in details over here. I hope it will work for you. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.